Hey everybody, how's it going? B Temple back again, and today we've got ourselves a Russian ration. It's been a long time, I think, since I've done anything that's Russian, and this is a little bit of a different one. What we have is a commercial ration, but it's basically supposed to be a direct copy of what's known as the IRP-BS, or the Russian freeze-dried ration, which is no longer in service. It's been discontinued as of now. So this came out of, I guess, a call from many of the people in the ration world who enjoyed the IRP-BS to get this particular manufacturer here to recreate a commercial style ration that was pretty much exactly like the old IRP-BS was. So what we have is, it literally just says individual or personal ration right here. And it's packed back in May of 2019, so it's really pretty much only a year since it was made, and it doesn't expire until April of 2021. So all the items in here should be fairly fresh. What you're going to find in here is going to be freeze-dried main items, and this is theoretically supposed to be for 24 hours, but we're probably just going to open it up and prepare it all in one. So first thing we'll do, I'll just show you that this thing is, fairly small, compact, lightweight, easy to carry, and this would be great for camping or hiking or anything like that, as long as you've got access to potable water, I suppose, to prepare the food. But it should be fairly easy to lug around. So we'll open it up and we'll have a look at what's inside. So first we've got, I believe this is what's called Leningrad Soup. That's the best way I could translate it. And you need 450 mils of water to reconstitute it. So that's, I guess, the easiest way to tell that this is probably going to be a soup. You probably wouldn't want 450 mils for some kasha or something like that. So yeah, this is going to be our soup. And then we actually have our kasha. So we've got Kasha Restaura, which is basically rice kasha. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is going to be what's known as the breakfast sort of idea, where this is going to be rice porridge with some raisins in it. It's a little bit sweet. It's also a little tiny bit salty. I've had this particular one before, and it's usually very, very good. And next we have, this is the mashed potatoes and fried onions. So this one takes 350 mils of water to reconstitute. 2 packs of crackers. It's really hard to tell sometimes if Russian crackers are going to be fresh or how they're going to taste or anything like that, but hopefully these ones are good, and they don't seem to be broken up that much, so that's one good plus. Got our apple jam. And this isn't a great sign, but this is our Russian chocolate, and it has melted and then reformed. Got 2 tea bags, coffee, 3 wet naps, got a, I guess, dry milk powder, something like that, 3 sugars, salt and pepper, and then lastly, what I'm going to assume is a isotonic drink powder, but not 100% sure on that one. So that's it, guys. This is everything all laid out. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these 3 mains into some bowls and some boiling water and get those constituted, and we'll get the tray out and we'll start giving everything a try. Alright, so everything's been laid out and reconstituted. We got our mashed potatoes and fried onions here. We've got our sweet, I guess you want to call it, rice kasha. And we've got our Leningrad soup and some crackers and our apple jam, isotonic drink, tea, and our chocolate bar, which, as I suspected, melted at some point. So we'll see how that is. Sometimes it doesn't affect it too much, but sometimes the chocolate bar will melt like that, and that's going to just be dry and horrible. But I guess we'll find out soon enough. No cutlery or anything like that, or spoons or anything came with this particular ration, so I'm just using a Canadian IMP spork. So this is our, I guess we'll call it our breakfast item. So this is a rice kasha with raisins. And I think I got pretty much the right amount of water in there. Let's give that a try. You can see it's just short grain, parboiled rice, kind of, almost like we get here dainty rice, like you put in soups, something like that. Doesn't really want to focus. There we go. And that is absolutely delicious. Oddly enough, I think the thing it's closest to when it comes to flavor is just simple white regular minute rice. But there's a little bit of cream in there. Obviously you can tell what the water's done. You know, it's turned a little bit milky. It's probably dried milk powder. And you can tell there's a little bit of sugar in there, but also a little tiny bit of salt. It really balances it out. It's not too sweet, but it's not too savory. It's I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a perfect sort of combination. Got a little pepper here. We might use the pepper for the soup and the potatoes if we feel like we need it. First thing we're going to do is just give our tea a little try. And yeah, this Russian tea is always great. This particular brand isn't quite as good as the Royal Elephant brand that you sometimes get, but this is like a solid black tea. Don't put any sugar in there, no cream, nothing like that. This is perfect as it is. We'll give one of our crackers a try on its own. So they're square, very hard. Do break well though, nice and airy. Let's give one of these a try, just see how it is on its own. These are so bland and dry, but they're always like that. It's just like you're taking a handful of flour and just trying to eat it. But to get away from that, they give you this absolutely amazing apple jam, apple butter, whatever you want to call it. Now this really brings the crackers to life. That's one of the best spreads in any ration that you will find. You can just see how the grains in that, how that's a lot of just, you know, pureed apple. It's got a darker color. It's not to say that's fermented, but it seems like a much more natural applesauce. And it's just a really strong apple flavor. A little, you know, mostly sweet, but a little tiny bit of tartness. I don't know what exact brand of apples or type of apples they use, but this is an absolute perfect accompaniment to any sort of cracker, biscuit, anything like that. Oh, that cracker's still too dry to try to eat it all at once. Let's try and cleanse the palate now with our, what I assume is an isotonic drink. It certainly looked like it, but we'll try it. Yeah, it's meant to be a isotonic drink. Completely indistinguishable flavor. To me, it just tastes sweet. That's it. I know there's a yellowish hint to it, which makes you think maybe it's going to have a lemon, you know, citrusy kind of flavor to it. That doesn't come through at all. I don't really know what the flavor is supposed to be. All I know is it just tastes like sugar water. Not saying it's a bad thing, but looking at that, you're going to expect to get a lemon flavor, and you will most certainly not. Okay, moving on to the mashed potatoes with fried onions, and these seem to constitute or come back together very well. Get a little look here. Got a little flecks of what I assume is parsley through it and some pieces of fried onion. So yeah, let's give this a try. Usually, this is pretty good. That is delicious. Really milky, buttery. You can tell there's probably, I'm going to assume there's going to be like dried butter in here and also milk powder. Part of me sort of believes that these little flecks are actually dill. Now, once you take a taste of it, the dill itself really comes through. And maybe a little tiny bit of onion and garlic, but I'm not 100% sure about that. My reading of Russian is not great, so I couldn't really tell if there's onion or garlic in this. But yeah, those little flecks are definitely dill. And I wouldn't normally say this, but yeah, that doesn't need any pepper. Usually I like to just douse everything in pepper. But that is delicious. That needs no other accompaniment. All right, and lastly, I guess aside from our chocolate, we've got our Leningrad soup. And I tell you, This is really congealed. It's more of almost like a stew now. Oh, just made a little bit of a mess. But we've got a lot of stuff going on in here. There's lots of flecks of what appears to be oats, maybe some rice. We've got mushroom, we've got carrot, we've got pieces of freeze-dried beef, things like that. And it's a very fragrant, vegetable soup kind of smell coming off here. So let's, you can see it's congealed a little bit. Yeah, let's give that a try. Very strong sort of vegetable stock kind of flavor. Very salty. Maybe you could probably add a bit more water to this if you wanted to. But the carrot flavor really comes through. Also celery. I don't really see pieces of celery in there. Maybe they use celery salt. But yeah, if you're looking for that flavor of a nice instant vegetable kind of soup, this is going to be absolutely perfect. You can't taste the meat in there at all. It's got a little bit of an earthy kind of flavor as well. I'm sure that's coming through with the oats and the mushrooms. But yeah, all in all, this is a perfect ration. All three of the main items are amazing. All right, not much else to do aside from trying out our horribly deformed chocolate bar. Let's get you to see the cross section there. You can see there's like different chunks of chocolate in through this, and then sort of this more whiter colored powder. Sometimes when this happens to chocolate in rations, they come out horrible. That this happened a few times in Polish rations, and it's completely ruined the chocolate. It's basically inedible. This is not too bad. It's a little dry at the beginning, but then it's the same exact flavor you're used to for this particular type of chocolate. It's like a slightly creamy dark. Not a crazy dark chocolate. We're not talking 70, 80, 90%. But I'd say probably like a 55 or a 60% dark chocolate is what this seems to be akin to. And it's very good quality. If you can happen to find it when it's not started to bloom, because sometimes I find with this particular type of Russian chocolate, blooming does actually affect the flavor. But right now, this doesn't look like much, but it tastes like a perfect piece of a chocolate bar. Yeah, that's great. So guys, this has been a Russian individual ration. It's the easiest way to say it. This is a commercial version of the Russian IRP-BS. I wish I had one to actually show you, to see, how similar it is, but I'm pretty sure the last one I had, Steve 1989 ended up getting it. So, yeah, and you'll basically, aside from them maybe popping up here and there online, they don't get made anymore, so you'll very rarely ever see one of those again. But in my mind, it's probably the best Russian ration that you can possibly get. Every single thing here is great. I mean, even the crackers, once you put some of the apple jam on there, they're perfectly fine. Yeah, I literally can't say anything bad about this at all. Every single item is perfect. And obviously, this is all meant for 24 hours. I kind of just laid it all out for efficiency and the expediency of time. But otherwise, you kind of want to break this down a little bit. A pack of crackers and the breakfast, maybe the apple jam, and then maybe you'd have just the soup on its own as a lunch kind of thing, along with another pack of crackers, and then you'd probably have your chocolate and iced tonic drink and mashed potatoes for another meal. Whatever it is you wish, whatever you wish to do, it's pretty wide open. And so guys, just to close out, as I always like to say, thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a good one.